She's all right when you get to know her. This is my podcast, and it takes you from your restrictive, toxic, life-limiting 9 to 5 into a life on your terms, full of freedom and flexibility as a self-employed virtual assistant. So whether this is your first introduction into the possibility of becoming a VA, or perhaps you've been doing a bit of Googling already, I'm going to get rid of the overwhelm, rid of the self-doubt, and show you that this life is possible. I've not just started this rodeo, you know. I'm Catherine Gladwyn, and I've been doing what you think is impossible since 2015. Shall we get started? Not every client is going to be legit, unfortunately, as a virtual assistant, and it only takes one scammer to wreck your confidence, waste your time, and of course your time is money, and also mess with your mindset massively. I've been scammed before, and I'll talk about those in a bit. So, you know, if you do get scammed, if you have been scammed, you must not be embarrassed at all. It happens to so many people. You read it in the stories. It's not always, you know, some Shirley Valentine or something. It can be anybody. But I'm going to just point out a few things in here in this episode just to kind of have your wits about you, you know, some red flags that you'll spot instantly, and also the importance of just listening to your gut, which I've only just kind of learned in the last 3 years, I think. And also what to say to a potential client when something feels a bit off. So, you know, you didn't start your VA journey to get taken for a ride, and so it ain't going to happen on my watch. We're going to protect your energy, we're going to protect your income, and beat the scammers. I think there's a program on the BBC, isn't there, in the morning? The ones that have always got must be ITV, because it's always got the adverts for those chairs that push you out of, you know, when you get to a certain age, HSL or something, isn't it? Or those beds that you can prop up. And I've seen a showroom actually in Cheltenham with all of that stuff in. Dying to have a look. Anyway, how to spot a scammer as a virtual assistant. So let's talk about something nobody wants to admit, but every virtual assistant will have an occasion. It's, you know, unless you're in business for 3 months and bugger off because you don't want to do any more marketing. But if you're in this for the long game, you will get people that make your gut feel a bit funny. Scammers, they're out there. And yeah, sometimes they have there's no obvious reason why they're doing it. In fact, today, the day I'm recording it, you may have seen on my socials, I've put scammer alert on I've put it on Instagram, I've put it in my Facebook group, I've put it on my Facebook page. I might put it on LinkedIn tomorrow. But yeah, I'm going to name him because he's absolutely a scammer. His name's Tom Wilson. And apologies to all the other Tom Wilsons out there. This one claims he's in Felixstowe, Sussex. He might not be. I was putting him around 25 to 30, but his email address is, wait for it, bigtom1594@gmail.com. And I'm wondering if the 1594 might be his date of birth, which would make him, what, 31? Oh, I was close anyway. He's a white male. Last time we've seen him, he's got black rimmed glasses, a beard that says check my hard drive, and kind of like half a moustache, mousy brown hair, mousy brown beard. We don't really know why he does it. He's been doing it for about 3 or 4 years now, and then he'll get called out on it and he'll go quiet and we hear nothing. Then he comes back and he's just come back recently. And all the things that he does is he doesn't want to tell you sort of on email what services he wants from you or what help he needs. He insists on having a Zoom call. So you even get to see him. And then before the Zoom call, he comes up with the promise that he's got loads of work for you. I think currently he claims he's running an IT business. It used to be a construction business. Octopus IT Solutions, I think he's doing at the moment, or Tom's IT Services. There's a couple of names floating about. I'm not laughing. I am laughing, but not. Oh, I don't know why I'm laughing. And he will either, for those of you that follow my process for onboarding a client from my inquiry to onboarding course, he never goes further than signing the contracts. So for those people, all you've lost is time. I say all you've lost is time, but of course time is money. And it's also very, very disappointing when you've like signed somebody up for like 40 hours a month or 30 hours a month, because that's what he's asking for, and then they ghost you. And this guy is ghosting because he's a scammer. But what's happened with a few people who haven't followed my inquiry to onboarding course is they've done work for him and he never pays. So that is why he's got the title scammer, because he has been committing fraud. He's been taking services and not paying for them. So, yeah. Unfortunately, so how I stopped him last time is I texted him on WhatsApp, and unfortunately, he's blocked me now. There is a number for him. I do need to check if it's a new number. He's also blocked me on LinkedIn because I told him on there as well another time that we all know what you're up to, Tom. So pack it in. But there's a lot of talk today in my Facebook group about why is he doing it? And he's always targeting women virtual assistants. So, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to accuse him of something that I cannot prove. I can prove he's a scammer, but I think we need to be wary as to why he wants these women on camera. Why is he doing it? We don't know what he's doing in between not bothering virtual assistants. I'm going to go through a few other things that, would help you identify who's a scammer. But first of all, I do want to stress that you mustn't be doing any work without taking money up front. And my inquiry to onboarding course takes you through exactly what it says, the inquiry to onboarding process, so that you can come away from it avoids you being ghosted because the process is so slick. It ensures that you do not ever lose any money. It ensures you're covered legally. It is, well, I created it, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant. Right, what I want to cover first of all is, like I just said, money and payments. Always get money up front, at least the first invoice before starting work. Now, if it's going to be a retainer, get them to pay all of it up front because they are retaining your time. If it's ad hoc, you obviously don't know how many hours they're going to need, but I recommend, and what I do is I take 3 hours up front. And then in those cases for ad hoc, if they don't use all of the hours, I give them a refund at the end. If they use more hours, then they get another invoice at the end of the month. Also, make sure your payment terms for the first invoice is on receipt so that they pay you and then you can immediately start work. If doing ad hoc work, you've taken the deposit, but there's more hours to be paid at the end of the month, then I would recommend, again, your invoice is either paid on receipt or at the most 7 days. I cover all of that in the inquiry to onboarding as to why that is the best way to do it. If you're doing something like website building where it's going to go into like £1,000+, then you may want to offer them staged payments. So perhaps 50 or 75% up front and then the rest on completion, something like that. Okay, so doing your homework, it's so easy to get an inquiry and you're so excited because you really want this to work. And it will work, it will, but we sometimes need to, I don't want you to think negatively because this happen. I forgot to say this at the beginning, but scammers are very, very rare, but it does happen. So hopefully this is something to have in your back pocket, but what I always do with every new inquiry is I Google them and I have a look on Companies House, but don't take that as something that, if they're not on Companies House, then they're a scammer because not everybody is on Companies House. You only go on Companies House when you're a limited company and or VAT registered, something like that. I can't remember. So, and also, I mean, if you were to go onto my profile on Companies House, you'll see that one business is dissolved and the other one is active. Don't worry about things like that. I mean, if they've got 28 businesses that are all dissolved, then it is a red flag. But some people dissolve businesses because they merge them. And that's what I did. I merged my businesses when I went for neurosurgery number 4, I think, because otherwise I was having to get 2 lots of accounts done and blah, 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 blah. So it was easier. I wish I'd merged it the other way around though, because I merged it as Delegate VA Virtual Assistant and I wish I'd left it as Catherine Gladwyn Limited. I could change it now, but then I've got to change all my copyright notices. I can't be bothered. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, Google them. So, you could check reviews if they've got reviews somewhere. Look them up on LinkedIn. Does their profile look genuine? Is there a link to a website? It's so important. I always say to virtual assistants, you need a website. I won't do business with somebody that hasn't got some sort of social presence that I can trust. I mean, anyone can set up a LinkedIn account for free, but a website costs money. The hosting for a start is like, I think minimum, if you use eco hosting, is something like £6 a month minimum, or maybe £10 a month. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. I really should research before I start talking, shouldn't I? Yeah, I mean, a website costs money. And even though like it's minimal, it's a small amount, like the hosting and things like that, it's still money. And you will get scammers that will have fake websites. I'm sure there's loads of people, but it reduces the risk. So yeah, look at their LinkedIn profile as well. Have they got a picture? Have they got a company logo? When did they start their business? If it's, say, like August and they started their business in July, I very much doubt that they're bringing in any profit at the moment to even afford a virtual assistant. So that would be, let me think, a cerise flag. Not quite a red one, but a cerise one. So yeah, do research, and also research their name, because I said that I would openly say that I've been scammed in the past. I was scammed by a guy in Swindon where I live, and I hadn't long been a virtual assistant, and I didn't take money up front. And I did work for him that amounted to just over £350, and he didn't pay. So I went to his office, and he'd emptied the office, and the landlord said he hadn't paid his rent. I thought, oh, bloody hell, I ain't ever going to get my money, am I? So I tried to find him on Facebook, and I thought I'm going to message him on Facebook. And when I put his name into Facebook, this group came up. I can't remember the name of it, but people owed money by blah-de-blah-de. And so I joined it, and this guy owed, I was going to say owed as in past tense, but he still owes hundreds of thousands of pounds to local business owners. He's been in prison already for fraud. And I Googled him the other day because I was talking about him to a member of my team, and he's doing it again. He's doing it with Pokemon cards and stuff like that now. He used to get services out of people and not pay. Got a website from a big company in Swindon, never paid for it. And he got services from me, but wait a minute. I'll tell you what happened there. And now he's like selling stuff. People give him the money and then he never sends it. So, it's unbelievable. Now, he still owes hundreds of thousands of pounds to local business owners, but he don't owe it to me. And I refused to let it go. A lot of people let it go when people don't pay their invoices, but I refused to let it go. And I did get verbally nasty with him. I didn't involve solicitors or anything like that, but I did get verbal with him. And he paid. If you're going to take services from somebody, you've got to pay for them. And that was a stressful time, and it really upset me. It did really upset me because I was really enjoying being a virtual assistant. And I thought, I can't have this happening. This has been really stressful. And the thing is, with every negative or bad experience, once you're through that initial sort of 2 weeks of real bloody anger and disappointment, you start thinking, I don't want this to happen again. So what can I do to stop it? Now, some people might be like, I'll give up. I ain't going to be a VA anymore. I can't cope with this. But what I did is I thought, right, no buggers having any of my services until they pay up front, ever. So that has stopped me getting scammed by clients. But equally, right, I ended up getting scammed by another service provider because they asked for money up front. And I thought, yeah, why not? That's right. That's what you should be doing. I'd Googled them and everything. I might talk about that at the end, or I might talk about that in another podcast. But long story short, I got my money back on that one as well. Okay, so I've already mentioned about having a website and online presence. I'm on almost every social media site except Twitter. I find Twitter is racist and I do not like it at all. So if you're on every social media site as well, don't worry if a potential client hasn't got a presence everywhere. Just maybe have a look to see Have they got a LinkedIn? No. That's quite unusual for a business owner, but, have they got a Facebook business page? Well, they have, but they haven't posted on it since 2023. That kind of is something to bear in mind, but also not necessarily a red flag. It is pink. This one's pink because they might just be so busy they haven't been able to keep up with social media. Or they might just be really not tech savvy enough to know what to put out there. They could be like you and I were at the early stages of our business, or you might, listeners now might still be at that stage where you're chucking out marketing, nobody's liking it, and you think, well, there's no point doing that, is there? And you give up. But yeah, so it's not necessarily, a limited online presence isn't necessarily a red flag. It's a pink one. But I do really believe that somebody should have a professional website. They should have that at least if they've got a business in this day and age. It don't make sense otherwise. And also I talked about Big Tom Wilson at the beginning. His email address, he's told people he's got contracts with Next and Microsoft, yet he's still using bigtom1594@gmail.com. Somebody even asked him if he's got another email address, and he said no. Are Microsoft going to be wanting to deal with an IT consultant that has got Big Tom? Having a professional email address is also something that I say that virtual assistants should have as well. It looks less scammy. I had an email. I actually had an email this morning, and I'm gonna find it. Hold on. Okay, I won't say their first name because it'll give it away. But let's say Dave. DaveSmith0@gmail.com, and if somebody has sent me a generic email, they said they got over 10 years experience as a digital marketing expert, and they specialize in helping businesses increase visibility, generate leads, and achieve sustainable growth, or tick. They can help me with search engine optimization, pay-per-click ads like Google ads, social media marketing, brand awareness, and things like that. And if you are looking for a reliable partner to scale your online presence, I would be happy to connect and discuss opportunities further. Like I said, they emailed me from davesmith0@gmail.com. They got no website. The email hasn't been personalized at all. For a start, it starts with, I hope you are doing well, which riles me no end. It's also got hello there, and there is a capital T. So maybe they think my name is there. And I'm not going to do business with them at all. I would never allow somebody to do search engine optimization who's done all of that. No website, dodgy email, a poorly written email, and no personalization. It's why in the VA Starter Guide, I've got the templates for you to send out as, in inverted commas, cold emails. I like to call them tepid, because you're doing research first on the potential client. But SEO, I'm not going to allow somebody like that in the back end of my website. Pay-per-click Google ads, I'm not going to allow somebody like that to have access to my Google Ads account and my payment details. Social media marketing. Mate, you've put a capital T on there, and you didn't even put a question mark at the end of I hope you're doing well. You are not going to be writing my social media marketing. No. You've got to really think about them things. Anyway, thanks for listening to that, because I needed to share that. So yeah, just have a look at all of those things and other things that red flags behavior. They may be behavior issues for me, but they may not for you. So after I got scammed by somebody that was going to help me get my courses CPD accredited, I did them on my own in the end. I got my money back from her, but it made me very, very wary when I then invested in somebody else who didn't scam me at all, but I'd given her all the money up front. And then I was like, oh God, what if she, and if she didn't reply on the day that she said she was going to, I'd panic and things like that. So it really does push you back no matter what. So a few things to consider is that they avoid signing the contract, or they start questioning your terms, especially your payment terms. Don't feel that you have to negotiate. You don't. Okay, you don't go to Tesco and say, I know you've just scanned all that and you're looking for payment now, but my rules are 30 days. So I'll be back in this time next month to pay for all of this. Ciao. And then off you go. So, yeah, if they don't want to sign the contract or anything like that, then it might get your tummy going a bit. Or they get funny about deposits. No, you want to take a deposit to protect yourself, to protect your business. So that's it. And if they don't want to pay a deposit, then they're not the client for you, unfortunately. Not everybody is. They want you to do just a quick free task to prove yourself. No, you don't need to prove yourself. I didn't go to my hairdressers and go, right, what I would like is balayage and layers and a trim and all of that, but I'm not going to pay you because I just want to see if you can do it first. No, you're offering services that you're competent and confident with. You don't go to a solicitor and say, right, I'd like you to act as my conveyancer, but I won't be paying you this time. If I move in the future, then I will. Now, just think of it like that. You're just like these people. You are a business owner. So, no, there's no free bloody tasks. If their communication seems a little bit off, I mean, I spell incorrectly. My grammar is now appalling. It used to be brilliant years ago, but I just can't think anymore about where to put stuff. So I'm not dissing anybody that spells incorrectly. But this Tom Wilson that I referred to, Jesus Christ, he can't even spell admin. So, things like that. Just have a think about it. Don't judge people on their spelling capabilities. But yeah, it's a difficult one to discuss. Ask me to spell accommodation. Can't spell it. Double C, double M, is it? Accommodation. Dunno. Anyway, but always think about yourself. You are a business owner. Think about protecting your boundaries and protecting your mind. Always have a contract in place. Get the money up front. And use secure payment methods as well, like a bank transfer, not PayPal friends and family. Some people might offer to pay via that to avoid you having fees or to avoid them having fees. Don't do it like that because you cannot actually use friends and family for taking money as a business owner. So it is fraudulent anyway. So just always make sure they transfer the money via your business bank account. But another thing I said at the beginning, I think it was about 3 years ago, I actually started listening to my gut. And it's amazing how your tummy can tell you that something isn't right. It's like kids, isn't it? I don't want to go to school tomorrow. I've got a bad tummy. And you think, you haven't really got a bad tummy, but they probably have. But whatever it is at school that's making them feel uncomfortable has manifested as a tummy ache. And it's same as adults, we get that upset tummy. Like if you get stressed or something, you feel sick or can't eat or, something like that. So, yeah, I expect all of you are already listening to your gut and it's just me that learned it very late in life. But one thing I also just briefly mentioned, but is really important, is you don't need to accept every client. There are loads of clients out there. I mean, I think it was 2 days ago now in my Facebook group, we had 5 job opportunities in 2 hours. 5 in 2 hours. That's crazy, isn't it? You're allowed to walk away if you think that this isn't the right situation for you. So remember, you are an equal and working with you is a privilege. So any client that refuses to accept that, whether that they got to sign a contract, that they got to pay a deposit and they got to respect your boundaries is not a client that you want to work with. Now, I also said that I'd say what to say to someone when something feels off. I mean, it's very difficult on a call. What you could say is, do you know what? I'll send you the contract over in a bit and blah, blah, blah. If you feel that you can end the call in any other way. What I have done in the past with people that I've just thought, I don't think this is going to work. I didn't really like that. It's a simple, I don't actually think I'm the best person to take your business forward. So on this occasion, I'm going to decline the opportunity to work with you. And that's it. You don't need to tell them what you really thought and you're not lying. You're just thanking them and they can move on. Now, I sincerely hope you never get scammed. If you do, or if you're worried about anything, then come into the Facebook group and we can help reassure you that things are okay, or we can reaffirm that, yeah, there's a red flag there. And perhaps maybe if you did this, then they might turn into the perfect client. You never know. As always, thanks for listening. If you're ready to reclaim your independence, then subscribe to this podcast because there is so much I'm going to give you. You've got to subscribe on your favourite channel, it says. What channel? I ain't going to be on the BBC, am I?